going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of What the Game Means to Me. Another fine Sunday morning. Got my co-host with me, Thaddeus Bell. How you doing today, man?
What's good, man? Exciting Sunday for me. I guess a meaningful game, but glad to talk some ball. We had a lot going yesterday, so ready to get to it.
For sure, like you said, we're gonna hit on some of the big news from yesterday. It was a big sports day yesterday, even right now. What you call it? World Cup's on. I think they went to extra 50 or extra 30 minutes. Um, you know, France just came back 2 scores by Mbappe. That joint was crazy. But like I said, we're
Yeah.
going to talk more so the other football today. And from yesterday as well, Jackson State's drop, largest comeback in NFL history. My guy Matt Ryan on the losing end of both of those. Then of course, we'll get into our NFL pick'ems for today. And some something or nothing topics as well. But before we do that, of course, gonna let the tape roll.
Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win! We win!
Don't you open your mouth about the best. Or I'm gonna shut it for you real quick. LOB.
Listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Lewis gets it to LeBron for three for the win. Yes! LeBron James at the buzzer!
Pass is caught! Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
What was your mindset when you stepped in the batter's box?
Go yard. I mean, I'm a pitcher. Why not swing as hard as I can? I got nothing to lose.
It's nothing a man above. Don't put you in situations that you can't handle. Instead of saying, why me? They're saying this is what he want me to do. And, Cleveland! This is for you!
The way we approach the game is the same way we approach life. You do the right thing. You make the right play. You make the right play. And in life, it's the same thing. What do you feel in your heart is the right thing to do? And you do that. You know, it seems so simple, but sometimes the simplest things are the hardest things to do. And I think it's just that.
Welcome to
What?
The game.
Me.
To me.
All right. And we're back. Not talking about it yet, but I already have an idea who this may be. Talking about Cowboys by 14. Because I know that is Jags. Cowboys face off today. Big game like that. I said, I know, you're proud of your boy T Law. What they said after week, 11 or 12? He's been almost like perfect.
The last 5 games, he's
Yeah.
10 touchdowns, no picks, like 73% completion percentage. He's been pretty good.
Yeah, so we're going to see him face off against that stout against defense of the Cowboys today. But before we get into that, like I said, I got some news that we want to hit on from yesterday, obviously. We're just going to make this our something or nothing topics for the day. Obviously, Vikings came back with 33 down, forced overtime, kicked the field goal, and end up, taking the game. Of course, like I said, my guy Matt Ryan's on the losing end of it as well. Again, and something I don't want to see. I'm in a bunch of Falcons groups, and that's all they've been posting about since the game happened yesterday. But what did you think about the game? And then what is this something or nothing to you?
It's definitely something, but I watched the whole game. Me and Kenneth were talking in the chat at like halftime, talking about I told him to get the ML because I just had a feeling that the Vikings were going to come back. It wasn't anything really that the Colts offense were doing. It was defense, special teams. They went in the other 2 phases of the game. And their offense was just stale. So, after a while, I figured that Kirk and the offense was going to pick it up because they have too many weapons on that side of the ball. Not to, they can't. I don't think they could be stopped the whole game. And then they have a solid young coach in Kevin O'Connell that was going to dial up the right stuff. And eventually it just started coming together and they started getting stops. But the Colts couldn't get anything done on offense. Jonathan Taylor got hurt early on. Then they ran the ball with Zach Moss. They kind of did what they were supposed to do, but they just couldn't convert on third downs. Matt Ryan looks old. They couldn't take advantage of the Vikings' sorry secondary. It was just rough. I'm pretty sure Duke Shelley. He had a pretty solid game yesterday for the Vikings, and they just had guys stepping up. And I just, they got it. What they get it? They got it to 19 before the fourth, and I was like, 19. It's a lot of time, 15 minutes with the way the Colts offense was going, and they just kept, putting drives together. and their playmakers started making plays. KJ Osborne stepped up. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I can't remember what he had, but he had like 15 for 150. I'm pretty sure that was a career day for him, along with Justin Jefferson. And then Dalvin Cook got going at the right time. So it's definitely something. Bad clock management by the Colts. Sometimes I feel like they just could have. I don't know if they took their foot off the gas, but there were some drives where they, be predictable. Run on first down, run on second down, pass on third. Like that stuff doesn't work. In the NFL. So just terrible execution, a little bad clock management, and bad luck. Jeff Saturday. I know some people were talking about Steve Smith was like he's the first interim coach that needs to be fired. I don't know about going that far. It's bad to be on the wrong side of history. So it's definitely something. I'm glad the Colts lose. Anytime anybody in the AFC South loses, I'm cheering, but this is bad. Like I said, when you got 33-0, I was like, all right, man, let me go take a shower. Like, let me go take a 30-minute shower, chill out, get ready for the next game. And I come back and, they're just steadily creeping, cutting down the lead, and then they finally take it over. And it was a nice little drive by Kirk at the end. But shout out to the Vikings because a lot of teams could have put their head down and, went on the next week. Yeah. They could have been like, we're 10-3, going to win a division. We're in the playoffs already. But they showed great resilience. So it was definitely something. But shout out to the Vikings for being resilient and their playmakers stepping up.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, it's just something for everything that you said. Like, I mean, but I guess that's what you kind of get with the team. They had, it weren't high expectations, but definitely was supposed to be competing in what we thought would have been a weaker AFC South. Obviously, getting Matt Ryan in, and getting some people back on defensive end and on their line. So, like, I guess that's kind of what you get. Like you say, you throw in the interim head coach that has never coached on any level before. Obviously, Matt Ryan is much of a shell of himself and just an uninspired team. Offensive line has been terrible. Like I said, Jonathan Taylor hasn't done much, hasn't lived up to the hype he produced last year. And like you said, 33 leads, I guess, is never safe, especially, unfortunately, when Matt Ryan is the quarterback. Like you said, one thing, I guess, the difference between this year's Viking teams and others is that resiliency because, there's been times they'll start off hot, then go cold the back end of the season, or like you said, they'll give up in games like this. But man, I'm not sure if this is correct or stat or not, but I feel like they've had at least if they're not the top team or at least top 3 teams that's had the most comeback wins this year. After being down like the second half or something of that nature. Like I'm pretty sure there's a stat out there about it somewhere. But like you said, they're just showing great resiliency. And they start to put it all together. Like you said, teams just somehow, some way, for some reason. Or honestly, at the end of games, like you said, Duke Shelley, I grew up with him. He played on my little league team, I think 1 or 2 years. But their secondary, I guess they're scrappy dudes because they got him and they got Shandon Sullivan that played at State as well. It's like they're not as known, but when it comes down to the end, they typically make plays. So, like you said, just a resilient group, and I guess they're on the right side of history this time. And I guess it wasn't technically prime time, but Kirk, showed up when he needed to. But next, another something to nothing topic, switching over from the NFL to college football. Of course, drop heard around the world. I think the Blue Bloods might have quoted that. And put a video out of it. But like I said, I think I tweeted about it too. I was like, the jokes are finna write themselves. Like, it's crazy.
I said it.
It's crazy. Like I was like, oh, and my mouth literally dropped. Like there's no way, bro. Just like was looking down at the ball. I was like, oh hell no, ain't no way. And then I looked, I'm like, there's no way he white too. Jokes definitely finna write themselves, but something to nothing. Jackson State drops the ball again. A lot of talk that Deion could run through the with the SWAC, but couldn't handle anybody in the MEAC. So loses another one again for the second year in a row. I guess this time it wasn't a blowout though. Yeah. But something to nothing. What do you think about Jackson State taking the L off the drop, and then the Sanders guys heading out to Colorado?
I mean, it's something in a way. I wouldn't say that, he can't beat the MEAC. Like, I know it's one game. Anything can happen in football, but they played FAMU at the beginning of the season, and they more than thrashed them. And that was one of the top teams in the MEAC. But, I mean, North Carolina Central was a solid team. Their trenches are very good, one of the top O-lines all year, and they dominated trenches for most of the game. And it was a hard-fought game, honestly. It was a good game to me. I was entertained. I watched from start to finish. But yeah, man, the drop was crucial. It was one of those drops where, like, I didn't go look up his stats or anything, but it was like this was one of his only couple targets on the whole season because the way he tried to
that's
catch
what I
the
was
ball,
saying,
he just looked like he didn't have good hands or he just wasn't confident. Like that was one of those scrub drops, if you get what I mean. Like it wasn't a drop.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he was fighting the ball type stuff.
Nah,
But
like that one went straight to him.
yeah, and that's. I mean, just like for a quarterback, the hardest balls to catch are like the ones where you're wide open. Like for a quarterback, if you see somebody wide open, those are the hardest throws to make because you don't want to mess it up. So I mean, I feel for them, but they had a lot of mishaps during the game, like 2-point conversion and stuff like that. So it's kind of something, I guess. And I said it in the chat. I don't know if you heard me say it, but I'm a little skeptical. Shadir's pretty good, but I don't know if he's ready for Pac-12 yet. I've been saying that.
Pac-12, yeah.
And I know Deion's Deion and he's bringing his son, but I hope he doesn't go up there and try to play daddy ball. Like, if there's a better quarterback out there, like, you need to play him. I understand it's your son, but you're trying to win games. And I know you're Deion, but you can't do that. And I'm interested to see how he does. I wish him the best. I hope all black quarterbacks succeed. But me personally, as a quarterback, from what I've seen, I don't know if he's ready for the Pac-12 yet. He might struggle and be better the next year, but I don't know. We'll see. But it's definitely something. And Travis Hunter is Travis Hunter. He had a crucial drop, but came right back and saved the game on the last play of the game. So it's definitely something. One more thing before you go. How do you feel about that last play? Everybody was like, that was a dime, but this and that. I personally feel like if the DB was a little better, he could have knocked it out because the ball felt like it was in the air forever.
No, that was a lot more Travis than I think, because the throw, even when he threw it, I don't know if it was just like the camera angles and everything how they had it displayed, but when he threw it, I was like, oh, that's going out of bounds, or that's not even going to be catchable. Like it's like I said, it hung in the air a little too long. But I think it was more so Travis and the DB just not being as good. Like, yeah, that DB made a crucial play before, but and it honestly could have almost been a pass interference, but the way Travis swam it and then made sure he stayed the line to at least get 1 foot in. I think it was a lot more him than the throw. But I guess it was. I mean, it was decent placement, but like I said, the DB was a little bit better.
In the air too long for me.
Yeah, it was just in the air because DB could have been right there. It could have just been a jump ball, and it would have been batted down anyway.
Yeah,
exactly. But the safety, I think the safety came over too late too. So.
All of that. The only thing I will add, though, I know Deion's a little sick about going 0-2 in the Celebration Bowl. Like, I know he wanted to get at least one. He started his career in Atlanta, too, so I know that's big for him.
Yeah, that's why I would say it was a little bit of nothing. Or, sorry, a little bit of something, too. And obviously it's a little bit of something just more so because of the other news about how he left, everything we've been talking about these last few weeks, how he left, where he's going, not keeping his promise, even though it's a promise. I don't think it would have. You couldn't, like, one man can't hold up to a promise of elevating all HBCUs. Like I said, I really think it was more so going to be just Jackson State than anybody. Like, of course, this brought a little bit more attention and a little bit more hype to what the Celebration Bowl has been and what HBCU football has been. But promise he was never going to be able to keep anyway. But I think that's more so why it's something too. Like, and now it's really sad because kind of like people now like kind of hoping and praying on their downfall just because
that's weird. That's weird.
And that's always been weird to me. Especially coming from our group of people. Like,
exactly.
Obviously it would be weird coming from anybody, but just like black people should like putting down other black people and hoping for their demise and not to be successful at the next level. Like, he's trying to build something and do something, not only like for himself, for his family, for others, but just for our culture in general. And like I said, he tried to do it there. He's trying to do it on the bigger stage. So like I said, wishing them more success. But just like you said, I think Shadir is going to come in and struggle that first year for sure. Like, the team just went 1-11.
Oh yeah, they're like kind of nowadays. It's not always true, but most of the times you can like rebuild a team almost in a year and a half or maybe 2 years with the portal. Like, it's crazy, but it can happen. I know Deion's gonna get. I can't wait till signing day. Like, he's
gonna get a few guys for sure. He already got the one kid from the one kid from Kansas, the running back, the 5-star, to flip. And then is Travis following him over there too?
I'm pretty sure he is, but if he don't go to Colorado, he can go back to where he was supposed to go.
FSU.
Yeah, we cooking up a little something over there. He can come join the team. We'll forgive him.
Yeah, I don't know about it.
This was everything though. Like, real quick before we move on, like if we would have went 4-8 or been sorry again, I see no reason why he doesn't. Like, I see him not coming.
Think about it, yeah.
Yeah, we played much better this year. I'm a real fan of Florida State, so I'm going to critique them, and they look pretty good this year. So We'll
Yeah,
see.
now they had a lot of bright spots after first few weeks. It was a little choppy, but then they started to figure it out
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, my team is just on the decline. We don't know where we're going. And
Oh yeah,
I
that
really
bowl
don't
game
care
was
anymore.
bad yesterday, brother.
I ain't watch it. I
Y'all
mean,
take
we
the
ain't had
field goal
nobody.
in, bro.
We had
Just
nobody starting that was supposed to be playing anyway, so I didn't really care too much. But last little something, nothing, only because we haven't been able to talk about him, and he showed out and performed these last 2 to 3 weeks. Brock Purdy, something, nothing. You think because I think this was your pick for the NFC Championship. Like you said the 49ers, they'll come out the NFC. So something or nothing. Do you think Brock Purdy could be the one that does that for him?
All right, what he's doing is definitely something, but I don't know about like him taking them to the Super Bowl just yet. I just still need to see a couple more weeks because he's going to come down to earth eventually, But I will say, they're doing, but Jimmy G, like they're not. When the backup usually comes in, they cater the offense to the backup or they limit the playbook. But I feel like the playbook's still wide open. They're running the same stuff, and Jimmy G is more of a middle of the field type of guy. Like he throws the ball over the middle of the field, and I feel like Purdy's attacking like all areas of the field. Outside the number, he's taking shots. He's not playing like a scared rookie, and that's scary for the rest of the league, in my opinion. But if he can lean on the defense and not make turnovers, I see no reason why the 49ers can't, make a run because I'm still skeptical on Dallas a little bit. And Philly looks good, but we've seen number 1 seeds losing the first round, so we don't know yet. But Purdy and the 49ers defense is looking scary right now. The fact that he's coming in playing confident, like he's being a game manager, but he's making plays at the same time. He's like, going out of the source of the offense to make plays to help them to win. So I think it's something what he's doing right now.
Yeah, same here. Like I picked him up in fantasy. Obviously, we're going down to fantasy play. I picked him up in fantasy mainly because like all of those offensive weapons and like you said, like Kyle Shanahan really just has quarterbacks that if they fit his system, they're going to succeed. And really, all he has to do is get these guys the ball in space. Kittle, obviously, Debo, Ayuk, and then obviously Christian McCaffrey as well. Like they got guys that could just make plays, and like you say, he's been able to take care of the ball, even himself. Like you say, he running plays confidently. What they had, 2 punt fake pass play and hit Kittle in the
had
middle.
a little screen play in the middle.
Yeah, that was like typically. I mean, like I said, Kyle Shanahan he has no limits really with his playbook, but just being able to open up certain things like that to him, not just being cautious just because he's the last pick of the draft. He has confidence in his guy, and as you can see from the picture, he has confidence in himself, and the whole team seems like kind of been rallying around him as well. So it's been cool to see him produce. I think it won't be on the same level only because he had some experience, but I can kind of see like a little bit of a Nick Foles type situation happening with this squad, because like I said, that defense is ridiculous. Ridiculous when they're fully healthy. They're crazy scary, and I'm so glad and thankful that when the Falcons played them, we was playing against second and third stringers, because there was no way in hell we would have pulled that game out. But they're the real deal. Like you said, offensively, they just had too many weapons. And, like I said, Kyle Shanahan has been a great play caller. Hopefully, like when it comes down to clutch moments, when they do get to the playoffs, he's, becomes a great head coach. And makes the right play or right decisions at least. But I think I can see him getting there. Like you said, the top teams that's in the NFC right now, still kind of skeptical on, still out on. We still got to see Cowboys and Eagles really face off
next week.
See what both teams are really about, fully healthy. That'll kind of tell me a little bit more like where they're at, where this 49ers team is at, because they're rolling right now, and they've been riddled by injuries, but once these guys get back and they are fully healthy, they're going to be a scary team. I think it's something. I think they possibly could be the team to be in the NFC. Obviously, we got them Vikings, Cowboys, Eagles. Out of those 4, one of them I feel like is going to be, sitting in the championship spot. But I think the 49ers got a good shot with Purdy in the backfield, or under center rather. But going to move on to some of the games. Going to hit on our 3 games for today. Not Saturday Showdown, Cowboys and Jags. I know that's one of the big games, obviously, for you and for Cowboys fans as a whole. What do you think your squad does today?
It depends what team shows up. The Jaguars, we've been pretty good every year. I mean, every game this season besides 2 games. No, I don't know what our bet is. Text it to me in the chat. I do not know what our bet is, but yeah, like it depends what Jaguar team shows up. Are we gonna get the Lions team when we play the Lions or when we play the Titans? We're consistent at times, but we're inconsistent. But for me to like the big thing for today is I'd say the trenches. Dallas's D line is very good, as we know. They feed off that. They feed off getting early turnovers. But the Jaguars' offensive line hasn't allowed a sack in 6 games this season, which is a great stat. But I know that's not going to keep up this week. I know they're going to get to Lawrence one time, but can they contain the O-line? I mean, the D-line? Can we establish the run game? Because, versus a D-line like that, you got to establish the run game. You can't let them just put their heads back and go get the quarterback. You have to throw some screens or, some draws or stuff like that to slow down the pass rush. And we have to take advantage of their secondary. Our receivers made plays last week. Evan Ingram was huge. Zay Jones has been pretty good this year. Christian Kirk has always been good the entire year. So can we feast off them not having Anthony Brown and having that second year corner Joseph from Kentucky? Can we feast on him? Like that's what it's going to come down to. We can't turn over the ball. So if we can slow their pass rush down, have no turnovers. We can't turn over the ball. And just, take our mismatches. I think we'll be fine. Our defense is good. We can show when we want to, and I think we match up with the Cowboys well. I'm mad as hell that Tyron Smith is coming back this week out of all weeks. Like he could have waited till Philly, but it is what it is. I think it's going to be a good game. One of the biggest games we've had in a couple of years. I know it's going to be packed out just because the Cowboys, because I was going to go to the game. I had tickets, and I had work and stuff, but, like, the nosebleeds were 200, so that's how you know it's a big game if the nosebleeds are 200. Yeah. So I'm ready to see what we do, but if we can just limit the turn, if we can play a clean game offensively, I don't think Dallas, even though they're pretty good on offense, I don't think they'll put up enough points to win. So I'm going to go Jags in a close one, 27-23.
I feel it. Let me say y'all have been playing resilient football as well. Come back against the Ravens was that last week, right? Or was that 2 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago.
Against the Ravens?
Yeah, it was 3 weeks ago because then we played the Lions.
Oh yeah. Who'd y'all just come back against last week?
I mean, we kind of came back against the Titans. We were down 7.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, you're right. I was thinking about but
we first go ahead.
No, what are you saying?
I was just gonna say we could force turnovers like we did last week. Like we forced Derrick Henry to fumble twice. We got a pick, strip fumble. We had 4 turnovers for us, and we don't do that often. So we could do that versus Dallas. I could see us handling this game easily.
Yeah, it's a home game too. I'm just like I said, I'm happy for you to see that your team is at least ascending. They're going in the right direction. T-Law had a rocky start this year, but like you said, last 5 weeks has been almost flawless. Dallas, again, their defense has, stayed to continue to build on, I guess, what they was building last year. They, look like a wrecking crew. And offensively, now they got Dak back under center. They're starting to have things clicking on all cylinders as well. Zeke's playing a little bit better. Obviously, the receiving core is playing well as well. So it's going to be a good matchup. I'm just going to sit back and watch kind of what you, Mo, and Kenneth kind of go back and forth and say to each other. Mo says $20 on the Jags.
I saw it.
Versus Cowboys.
I'm a little scared, but we're gonna ride with it. We're gonna ride with it.
Yeah, that could be a quick little easy 20. I can see the Jaguars coming away with it. I'm not gonna pick them though. I'll go Cowboys. I think it will be a close game though. I'm hoping for a close game just because I want to see a lot of shit talking in the chat. But I'm gonna go Cowboys 30 or 31. Jaguars 24, lose by a touchdown. It'll probably come down to the end, maybe like a big drive. T-Law supposed to, get him down the field, probably get him close to the red zone, end up throwing a pick or something like that. That's what I feel like might happen. But I do see it being a close game, and hopefully it is, just for good fun in the chat. Picture's a little blurry. This one's a big game for me. We got a game to watch a little later. I'm probably gonna talk about my team, but this is only a big game for me, only because I'm hoping the Bengals take care of business. Bucks have looked atrocious this year. I don't know what's going on with them, but I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see TB12 not play up to par. Glad to see that defense is in shambles, not as good as we thought. And offensively, they just can't get anything going at all. Bengals on the other side of things have looked great offensively. Defense has stepped up to the play a lot as well this year. They're starting to find their rhythm, later on in the year as well. And I think, starting to look more so with that Super Bowl form that we were seeing last year. So hopefully, like I said, they're able to come in, take care of business, give the Bucks another L. And if my team's able to take care of business, we'll be tied atop of the AFC South, the dumpster fire that we are, and still have a shot at the playoffs because we really should be first in the division. But Arthur Smith and Mariota have cost us so many games. But we get to see my boy Desmond play today, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm gonna go with Bengals, hopefully in a blowout. In this one, who you got?
Oh man, this one's gonna be quick. I got the Bengals. They're just hitting on all cylinders right now. Honestly, Buffalo is inconsistent, so I would have them and KC as my top 2 teams right now. This is how the AFC Championship was last year, but the AFC is tough after last night. Like the Dolphins can play when they want to, and they could have won that game. But I got the Bengals, man. They're hitting on all cylinders. Even with when Jamar's out, they play well. When T. Higgins is out, they play well. Like it's a team that just playing good ball right now at the right time.
Yeah.
December, November, that's when you want to play your best ball. And I will give them credit for this. I know the O-line was trash last year. They spent all that money. They started off the season slow, but the offensive line has picked it up. Joe Burrow's not getting touched how he was in the early parts of the season and last season. So it's really paid off. And when he's clean, he can do it with the best of them. He doesn't have the biggest arm, not the strongest arm, but his accuracy, his ball placement, his connection with his receivers is top notch. And like you said, Buccaneers defense is they're not in shambles, but they're not what they were at the beginning of the season.
And Vita Vea is out today too. So
their run stopper is out. So I just think that the combination of the receivers, when you got Mixon and Piron, it will be a close game because it's Brady and it's the Bucks. They play on 425, so hopefully everybody's watching, so they'll step up their game a little bit. But Bengals are just the Bengals right now, and I don't know if Brady's washed or he's done, but he's not looking good. He's missing a lot of throws that he would have made in the past. Not ready to say the GOAT is washed, but he's definitely not looking up to par. And then Julio can't stay healthy. Him and Mike Evans' report is not the same, so the Bucks aren't the Bucks right now. So I say Bengals by 10.
Yeah. I'm hoping for just for a blowout, quick game. I'll tune in and just click right out of it. But last game of the day that we got, another one that'll be fun for the chat because we got a bunch of Bengals and Commanders fans. Giants and Commanders fans. I'm tripping. But another one for the chat. Hopefully it's a better. Well, I mean, the last game was pretty decent, but in the end, a tie. Ties are never fun. Hopefully this one isn't one of those. But Giants, Commanders, they face off again 2 times in 3 weeks. Who you got in this one?
Okay, so I'm going to go with the home team. I got the Commanders. Last time they tied. The Giants, I don't know what's going on, but they cannot get Saquon established in the run game. I don't know how they've gotten this far with the receiving core they have. I know Slayton's a G-code guy, so I'm pulling for him. But when you're coming out there with him and Richie James is good, though. When I used to go on visits to MTSU, he was there, and he was a really good receiver in college. But, he's not your number 2 or number 1 in the pros. I don't know how they've gotten this far. Dayball is doing a great job still getting the most he can out of Daniel Jones. But I think the Commanders with Heineke, they just play – I don't get it. Like I think Carson Wentz is a better quarterback, but they just play better with him. And their weapons are just, McLaurin makes plays all season long. Ever since he came in the league, he's made plays. Dotson is here and there. Samuel's there. And then Brian Robinson has been a total revelation to their offense. I think they're just totally different with him in the backfield, and they're incorporating him in the pass game too. So their offense is just getting better and better. And they tied last time, so it's going to come down to the adjustments that the coaches make. And I think I don't know when the last time the Commanders have had a Sunday night football game at home, so I know the crowd's going to be rocking and ready to go. So I'm going to say Commanders by 3. And it comes down to a final drive where Daniel Jones throws a pick or gets stripped.
Yeah. I can see the Commanders taking this one as well. Taking with sole possession of that last wild card spot. I think
they might not even have it anymore, though, honestly.
Why you say that?
I'm about to look at the standings real quick, but I know the Seahawks are right behind them and somebody else.
Yeah. But they
lost. I know the Seahawks lost on Thursday, but I'm about to look. You go ahead and tell your take on the game.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, well, I think they might be 6-7 right now because of the Seattle loss. But regardless,
7-7. Never mind. You're right. Yeah. They have their final spot.
Yeah. So I think I think Washington ended up, taking this one, like you said. I don't know how. We kind of all seen it coming though. Like the Giants were playing really good, too good of football in the beginning of the year for some reason, and we all were just kind of, just looking like how are they figuring, ways to win. We're all like, oh, it's the balls, the culture change, and all that. But eventually, you're gonna need some talent to back all that up, especially when you having to face divisional games, and then obviously we thought, they played, decent competition in the beginning of the year, like what we thought would be decent competition, such as like the Packers, but just haven't been teams that have lived up to what we thought they were going to be this year. So, with the Giants, like I said, I don't know how they're getting away with, certain guys that they throw out there offensively, at least in the wide receiver core. We didn't think that's what they would look like. And, we can see like Daniel, I mean, he's not really struggling, but he's like, they just don't have any talent to really get the ball to anybody. And Saquon, you can key in on him and shut him down, because he's the main offensive weapon. So Saquon has to take over. Definitely.
Yeah, like Press says, he has to. I know he's been bottled up the last couple of weeks, but without that, you really can't do anything. Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio, those are guys that played in the league, so they know how to stop an offense.
Stop the offense, yeah.
Yeah, and like Daniel Jones is going to have to make some throws. Slayton, I mean, to give him credit, he was not even on the active roster to start the season. So he stepped in his role when everybody got hurt, and he's made plays. But he's going to have to win one-on-one because Saquon's going to see 9 and 8-man boxes all game. And you already know that Washington D-line is pretty good. So they get home with only a couple of people up in the box. So it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go Washington in a close one. It's a divisional matchup, so I could see like 23-20, a low-scoring chess match.
Just hopefully no more ties. I mean, if there's another tie, is really messing both of them up for their playoff chances.
As of now, though, they're all in. If the playoffs ended today, all the NFC East teams will be in. So
yeah, we can't have that though. I just can't imagine something like that happening. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But I'm gonna take Washington as one, a close one. I'm gonna say touchdown or not touchdown, 26-20, Washington's way. But real quick, we got our Pick Ems for today. I forgot to add the last 2 weeks up. So, but I have all the picks and everything. But I think you're in the lead right now for sure. I don't think it's about much, but I think you're in the lead for sure. Last time I looked. But next week when we get on, I'll have the full screenshot up for week 16 and then week 17 as we wind down. But Pick Ems, obviously San Francisco, Seattle. We both went San Fran. Yesterday, Miami and Buffalo. I went Miami, you went Buffalo. Baltimore, Cleveland. We both went Cleveland. And then Indy and Minnie, we both went Minnie somehow.
Luckily.
Yeah. By the grace of God and, by Indianapolis's, craze of not being able to do stuff. But Atlanta, New Orleans, I'm going to go Atlanta, of course. Hoping my boy Desmond goes out there and performs. Hopefully our offense just looks totally different. Hopefully we're able to put points on the board. Hopefully we're able to, just run New Orleans out of their home stadium. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I'm going to go with my boys, Atlanta. Who you got?
I got to go New Orleans, not just because I don't think I'll pick the Falcons all season, to be real. It's not hate, but this week I have like a real valid reason. Desmond Ridder, his first start, I wish him well, but playing in New Orleans is not easy. As you know, it's never easy. The pass rush is always crazy. And to have this is your first game, your first NFL start on the road, I wouldn't bet anything on the Falcons today, so I'm going with New Orleans by 14. Hopefully Ridder shows us something. I know, even though you guys are probably going to lose, you're just looking for, signs of potential and stuff like that.
Some toughness,
you can lean on in the future. So
something to build off of. Man, I think they can get it done for sure. They can get it done. But Giants, Washington, we just went Washington. You said what?
I said when y'all play, usually nobody gets swept. Like it's always a split. It's not always a split, but most of the time it's a split. So I don't know.
Yeah, that is true. And they stole the first one from us. One of the games that we gave away. That if we would have won, we'd be looking at a lot different season right now. But hopefully we were able to split. Because like you said, last few years it's been like that. But Giants, Washington, we both went Washington. Philly, Chicago. Pretty sure this will be a quick one. I'm going Philly.
Justin Fields he's playing better, but he has no weapons. Mooney's out and Claypool. So N'Keal Harry's probably his number one. So yeah, let's move on.
That's a wraps. Yeah, Detroit Jets. That's gonna be a good one. Game to watch. If after obviously we hit on most of the big games, but that probably be the game to watch. Detroit about to put them, if not already in playoff contention, about to put themselves back in playoff contention. What they 6-7?
Yeah, they're a game out, game or two out.
Yeah, game out, and this can put them right there in like I said, in prime position. So Detroit has been clicking on all cylinders. Jared Goff has looked good. They've gotten their receiver core back and healthy. Obviously the trade for TJ Hawkinson bolstered things up as well, but they're playing good football, and the defensive side of the ball is starting to pick up as well. Hutchinson has looked pretty good these last few weeks too. So I think I want to go Detroit, but the Jets defense has looked great as well. But I just remember I'm going Detroit because I forgot Zach Wilson is playing today. Yep. So yeah, Detroit.
I'm going with Detroit too, man. They've been picking it up. They didn't punt against us. Their offense was lethal. Like that combination of Jamison Williams, St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, DJ Chark with the two running backs, and Jared Goff is playing very well. I don't know how he's going to do in cold weather. He's a different quarterback on the road than in the dome, but they're hitting on all cylinders. And like you said, Zach Wilson is starting and Quentin Williams is out. So I'm going to go with the Lions.
Yeah. Got to. Pittsburgh, Carolina. I'm going to go with Pitt. Who's playing today?
I'm going with Pittsburgh.
I'm going
with Carolina. I'm sorry. I'm going with Carolina.
Yeah. It's for reasons. Yeah, I gotta go with Pittsburgh only because obviously I can't have Carolina win because I think they're not a game out. They're tied with us. But they've been playing really good football.
Yeah.
And I think who's what you call his quarterbacking for the
Rudolph
Pittsburgh
or
today? I'm just going. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Trubisky more than likely, probably both, because I think Trubisky's gonna do something.
He's gonna get pulled or something,
Yeah, he's gonna get pulled. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh, just hoping and praying though, just to be different, and just because I don't need Carolina to win the game. I'm gonna go Dallas. I know you went Jacksonville already. Kansas City, Houston, Kansas City.
No, let's not even talk about that one. The next one's a trash bowl. Arizona and Denver. Both without their starting quarterbacks, but I'll take Colt McCoy over Brett Rippon. And like they lose when Colt McCoy comes in, but him and D Hop, he feeds D Hop. So I'm interested to see that matchup with him versus D Hop and Pat Surtain. But I'm gonna go Arizona. I'm worried about the altitude though. Them boys in 100-degree heat, and then they go into Denver. Degrees, so
it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Arizona as well though. Tennessee Chargers. I'm gonna go LA. Justin Herbert's been playing well. They're clicking all cylinders as well. Keenan Allen has looked pretty good since he's came back too. So I'm gonna go LA, and they're at home. I
gotta go LA. This divisional race, we're 2 games out. If we win today and they lose, they'll be 1 game back. And then Tennessee's just they're getting killed with injuries, bro. Killed. Treylon Burks is out. Fulton's out. They lost Harold Landry earlier in the year. I don't know how Mike Vrabel gets it done. Like I said, he was in the running for coach of the year until they had this little slump. But I can't pick Tennessee. I need them to lose, and they don't have anybody. So Chargers, let's go, Herbie.
Yeah, more than likely, they're gonna take the L anyway. We already both went Cincy, New England, and Las Vegas. What you got?
This
is kind of a tough one. It's like New England's been playing decent. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's really going to be a chess match, and it's obviously
McDaniels versus Belichick.
McDonald's versus exactly. So in these type of situations, or at least recent, we've seen like the student beat the master, whatever the case may be. But I don't know. I think New England just has a little bit more to play for, and I don't know. They're just a little bit more so the more consistent team. So I'm just gonna go consistency. New England. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna take Vegas. They've been playing okay, bro. They just can't finish games. Like if I was a Raiders fan or Falcons fan, I feel terrible about all the blown leads. But it's gonna be a chess match. I know Belichick knows what McDaniels like to do, but he also knows Mac Jones' weaknesses. So I think they'll force him into a couple turnovers. So I'm gonna go Las Vegas.
Yeah. And then Rams, Green Bay, another kind of trash bowl as well. I don't know.
I gotta go Green Bay.
They need to flex, like you said last week. They need to start flexing some of these games,
Monday night games, the Christmas games. Like once we saw Lamar wasn't gonna be there, so I take that game out. We could have the Colts game ended up being good, but we could have swapped that game out too. So yeah, this one is definitely one that it might be on my phone while I'm doing something. I'm gonna watch it, but if I'm out, I'm not gonna be checking.
I'm not tuned in for real. Yeah, I'm gonna go Green Bay though.
I don't think Baker can do it again. And playing in this cold weather is no joke.
Yeah. Yeah. So Green Bay.
Green Bay.
It's going to be a trash one, though. It has really no meaning for anybody. But that does it for the pick'ems. Like I said, I'll have the updated chart. Actually, I'm going to do it throughout the week. I'm going to post it later throughout the week. Like I said, I'm not too far behind, but we're coming down to the last few weeks. So hopefully I can close up the gap. Don't know if you have anything, little what grinds my gears for the week. But obviously, we're going to close out the show with this.
Yeah, we can go real quick. Game's about to start and stuff. I'm going to go with the thing people have been talking about all week on Twitter, the Deion Sanders slander. All right, so, coming in, I do wish I was a little sad when he announced he was leaving. I wanted him to stay at the HBCU, turn them into a true powerhouse, like go see them compete in the FCS playoffs and all of that. But for everybody that's hating and saying he bailed on us, this and that, he left HBCU. He put them in a better place. Like before he got there, he transformed HBCUs. Everybody's considering them now. You got 4 and 5 stars choosing Jackson State or FAMU over schools like Vanderbilt. I don't think they're gonna choose them over Alabama, but the bigger schools. He's really put the spotlight on HBCUs and changed them for the better. Jackson State's facilities, everything is better about that program. In the 2.5 years he's been there. So all the slander, I get it. I wanted him to stay too, but to act like he's not done anything for HBCUs or helped them out, he's helped every school out. I wish more pro guys would keep coming down and coaching. Like you got your Eddie Georges, you got Hugh Jackson, people like that have played and coached at the highest level. So just keep, you don't have to stop supporting HBCUs. I understand Deion left and he made a business decision because he's making $5 million compared to the $300,000 he was making at Jackson. Like I'm pretty sure anybody in their right mind would take that. So let's just stop slandering the brother and look at the positive what he did for HBCU. So I didn't really kind of agree with all the slander. Yeah. But I do think Deion is a little bit not all about him, but sometimes he is about him in a way. But that's all I got.
Yeah, showing that, like you said, but I don't know. Not that it's excusable, but we see it all the time with people of his stature at times, just the way they carry themselves. It do be all about him. But I do think there's a lot of things through this, that he's shown. He didn't want to make it about him. He's not always trying to make it about him. Obviously, he has the name, he has a brand, he has everything behind him. But he, like you said, did do a lot. Even out of his own pocket, for these facilities, for these kids, for the facilities, you're not seeing that out of much people. And you even said, you even named some, people maybe they're not of Deion's stature, but we know them.
Everybody knows who Eddie George is. People know who.
Everybody knows who Eddie George is. Yeah, exactly. Guys like that, were there before he even came. So it's like you say, it's putting them in a better, spot. He's not going to be able to elevate HBCUs as a whole, but like you said, he definitely brought more attention. That's the main factor. Now what can we do to grow from that attention? Obviously the main thing, and I heard him talk when he came to Atlanta, is the funding, obviously the facilities, the funding, just the money that they put behind these sports and these kids, that has to improve. And, I wish somehow, some way we can figure out how to do that, how to elevate that. And I guess maybe he saw certain things of that nature couldn't really be done or wasn't being done the right way. That's why he bounced. I don't know if it was, his plan as a whole. Obviously, I thought a lot of us knew he probably wasn't going to stay at HBCUs forever. But, I guess we just didn't think he was going to leave as quickly as he did. But I guess mainly the problem has just been the promise that he made. Maybe if he worded things differently or said things differently, or it just wasn't so hard.
I do get that part.
Yeah,
you can be sad I was a little bit, but you don't got to go slander the man. I do wish he fulfilled his contract though, but you just knew all the stuff he was bringing to the school, all the exposure they were winning. He was bringing 5 stars in, a sorry program like Colorado or Stanford. They were going to reach out, or a Vanderbilt, one of those programs that haven't been relevant in a long time. They were going to reach out to try to have him do the same thing to their program. I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say this: if Deion has the success he has at Colorado, if he goes 9-3 or 10-2 early on, he's gonna pick a better job. So
and he's probably gonna move up from there too.
Business.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's what we talked about it so many times on the show. It's just the business. it's just how life works as well. Like if you're doing well, you're gonna elevate. You're gonna go up. You're gonna go to different places because, like you said, more than likely, like I said, he does well there. He's probably gonna do it somewhere else, and just show that he can do it on a bigger stage. But we kind of had the same grind my gears for the day. But outside of that, man, anything else that we got to hit on for the day?
Nah, man. Shout out to Off the Ball Network. Go use our sponsor, SeatGeek, and use the code Off the Ball. But nah, man, that's about it. We got a big Sunday for me. About to go lock in for this game and go talk my shit in the chat. So appreciate you having me on, bro. And let's do this again next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll be back. Like you said, use Off the Ball, $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek. Any concert, any game, anything that you want. So definitely use that code. Like you said, shout out to everybody Off the Ball. It's a big Sunday for me as well. Hopefully, I need a Bengals win. I need a Steelers win. I need a Falcons win. I need a Bengals win. I need a Steelers win. I need a Falcons win. And I need us to be tied for first place by the end of the day. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Shout out to Mo and Chris, president and vice president Off the Ball. Now shout out to them. Not shout out to Mo, I guess for you.
Not Mo
today.
Nah.
We foes. I guess y'all are foes. I'm just gonna sit back and watch. But appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next week, and y'all have a good one. Stay safe.
Hopefully you guys